Hey, is that folk music that you play there? What is that? How do you call that folk music?
I think it was Studs Terkel who asked Big Bill Brunzi, did he consider his blues music to be folk music? And Big Bill says, well, never heard no horses.
Don't hesitate. It could be your ticket to a new tomorrow.
Thanks very much. Thank you,
The
Ralph.
show is Horses Sing None of It. My name is Ralph Litwin, and 1,000 welcomes to you,
Thank you.
Shannon and Matt Heaton,
It's true.
otherwise known as Matt and Shannon Heaton.
Exactly. It's a palindrome.
Or a pun. So you've come down today from Boston,
We have.
where you domicile?
Yes, where we domicile, where we garden now. After some mishaps, we moved into a house about 1.5 years ago, our first house, into our first garden.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Had to bring in a bunch of dirt into the backyard because nothing could grow, and we had some mistakes were made in the delivery of the dirt, but now things are growing, so everything's fine now.
That's a leading statement. Mistakes were made in the delivery of the dirt.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't want to point any fingers or anything. But our neighbor's garage did suffer some structural damage.
I see.
Yeah, it was really amazing, actually. We had 10 yards of dirt delivered.
And being new to this whole dirt delivery thing, we didn't, we have a friend who's a landscaper. He said, oh, you need 10 yards of dirt. And I don't know how much a yard is. What they don't tell you that a yard is like 2,500 pounds. And, if he had said you need 25,000 pounds of dirt, I might have thought twice about it. But, 10 yards, that doesn't seem like much, so.
It was an amazing amount of dirt. Yeah. But I thought it would come off of the truck, kind of into a big pile.
Uh-huh.
But in fact, it just comes right off the truck, just bam! And
Thump.
Yeah, and the driver aimed wrong and didn't get the driveway, but in fact got the neighbor's garage. And just in one split second, cracked the garage, completely collapsed in one of the walls. Yeah, it was a bummer.
Yeah.
It was a bummer. But hey, you gotta crack a few eggs to make an omelet.
Yeah, break a few garages to make a garden, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, what was that number you started out with?
There's a couple reels. The first one was called Tatey Casey's, and the second one was the Reel of Rio.
The Reel of Rio.
Yeah, and never figured out. It's a.
Is that kind of a Brazilian vibe?
Yeah, I guess it could well be.
Yeah.
Every time we drive down this way, we always pass that Mount Kisco, and there's a tune called "The Maids of Mount Kisco," which I assume someone over here wrote, but who knows?
There may be another Mount Kisco in the old world.
There may be. Wouldn't put it past him.
Okay.
So I saw Matt go into the littler instrument, so,
So you got a little
I
instrument
got a little one too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we play a song?
Yes.
So this is a traditional song, right? We're going to play the Blackbird? Yeah. Called the Blackbird. And, yeah, it goes like this. Misfortune seems sad. Many months I've been courting a young sailor lad. I've courted him truly, both noon, night and day. Now my young sailor has gone far away. If I were a blackbird, I'd whistle and sing, I'd follow the vessel my true love sails in the top rigging. I'd there build my nest and lie all night long on his lily white breast. My love's tall and handsome, with every degree. His parents despise him because he loves me. Let them despise him, say what they will, while I've breath in my body, I'll love my man still. If I were a blackbird, I'd whistle and sing, I'd follow the vessel my true love sails in the top rigging. I'd there build my nest and lie all night long on his lily white breast. And took up my pen, I'd write a long letter To my true love I'd send, I'd tell my misfortunes, my sad grief and woe. If I'd wings like a dove, to my true love I'd go. If I were a blackbird, I'd whistle and sing. I'd follow the vessel my true love sails in. In the top rigging, I'd there build my nest and lie all night long on his lily white breast. I'd see my love's face on a canvas in colors warmed by the sun's rays. His features so pleasing, his eyes full of love, like an eagle I'd soar in the blue skies above. If I were a blackbird, I'd whistle and sing. I'd follow the vessel my true love sails in. In the top rigging, I'd there build my nest and lie all night long on his lily white breast. Oh, Lord, make me a blackbird. I'd whistle and sing. I'd follow the vessel my true love sails in. In the top rigging, I'd there build my nest and lie all night long with my love.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You are
Thanks very
truly
much.
fabulous.
Thank you.
Thanks. It's a lovely song, isn't it?
Yes,
It's very
beautiful.
sweet. You know, there's some pretty dark versions of that song. Some sort of sadder versions.
Yeah.
But it's actually hopeful. You know,
Yeah, it sounded.
woman is missing her dude, sad that he's going off to sea. And instead of just moping around or dressing up like a sailor, like they always do in the traditional songs, you know, she makes a nice poem, has a nice poetic thought, turns
I
herself
were
into
a
a bird.
blackbird.
Some people call that crazy, but I happen to call it hopeful.
So how did your life's footsteps take you on the path to this particular music?
Over to you, Matt.
Yeah. Well, in my own case, it's a little bit started out kind of randomly. My family's not Irish. My dad is a musician. He plays the organ. He's an organist and choir director and whatnot. So I was around an awful lot of music growing up, and just always kind of liked Irish music. I never knew why. I didn't know that much about it. And then I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and then I went to school in Chicago, which is a real hotbed of the music. And so I started being able to actually go hear real people playing it and whatnot. And somewhere along the line, somebody gave me a blank, unlabeled cassette. It turned out it was a Planxty record, but I didn't know that. I just thought that it was this fantastic music. It was really great, and I kept trying to find. I kept trying to find out who that was, but none of my friends knew. And at the time, this was pre-internet, and I got a hold of the Shawnee Records catalog, and I just started randomly ordering things. And so I ended up with the weirdest collection at first, with like the I don't know, it had like Silly Wizard and the Kilfenora Cayley Band and Steel Ice Band or something, just these sort of odd assorted things. But then once
That's what he came up with from there.
Yeah, right. Once I started actually going, there were some sessions in town that I started going to, and then I met Shannon, and sort of carried me along the garden path here.
How about you, Shannon?
Well, my family is pretty divided. They're not a divided family. We're very close. But geographically, we lived in Chicago and Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Everybody's basically around those two areas. And in Chicago, there are a lot of great Irish music sessions. And I was fortunate enough to spend a lot of time playing music with and learning from all those great older players in Chicago. Actually, we were talking earlier about Joe Shannon, a great piper. Kevin Henry, a wonderful flute player. Actually didn't learn a lot directly from them, but they're real legends in Chicago. But I learned a lot from my friend John Williams, who's a great accordion player and concertina player. I learned a lot from my friend Brendan McKinney, who's a piper, flute player. Larry Nugent, another great flute player from Fermanagh, living in Chicago. I learned from all those guys, Pat McPortland and Jack Murray, who were involved with the Cultists down in Chicago. Learned a lot from each and every one of them and the sessions. And then up in Milwaukee, I guess just every summer there was a really great Irish music festival that would bring all sorts of bands through. So I got an opportunity to meet, all sorts of different musicians, and my family hosted musicians when we were living in Milwaukee, hosted musicians to stay with us. So, and then we've been to Ireland a bunch of times, just from having friends and distant relations there, and just sort of was around it all the time, and had the good fortune to have very close by neighbors who had time to teach me tunes. I was kind of lucky.
Cool.
Just fell into it. And my family, it's a big folk music loving family, and I grew up with all those old songs and the Irish American ballads and everything. So,
All right.
yeah.
So give us another one.
Well, after that, we're now going to play something that I wrote.
Yeah, we'll show you where, our past then brings us to the present.
Okay, fair enough.
This is what we did with what we learned.
This is a waltz called the Lemony Lullaby.
Very pretty.
Thank you.
And to the untrained ear, sounds very much in the tradition.
Thank you. I think it does, even to the, I guess, somewhat knowledgeable ear. As trained as it gets.
For more information about the Heatons, Matt and Shannon, you can email info@eatsrecords.com. How did you come up with that name, Eats Records?
Good question.
Yeah, we needed a name.
We needed a name really fast. We were actually
and
we were finishing our first record with a band that we'd been playing with for about the last 8 years or so, and we were finishing up the artwork to send off to the manufacturer to get these CDs pressed, and I realized, oh no, we're doing this on our own label, and we still hadn't come up with a label name. And a friend of ours, Leo Shu, a really good friend of both of ours, Matt's known him since he was young, called us up and out of the blue just called us up to tell us this joke about the panda bear walks into a bar.
Panda walks into a bar. Bartender's kind of surprised, but the panda goes up to the bar, says, "I'd like a beer and a sandwich." He serves him, and he sits down, he eats his sandwich, drinks his beer, and gets up to leave without paying. And then before he goes, he pulls out a gun and he shoots the piano player. And the bartender starts freaking out, and he says, what are you doing? You can't come in here and start shooting up my place, and besides, you haven't paid for your lunch yet. And the panda says, "I'm a panda, what'd you expect?" And the bartender says, "Well, I don't know, but I certainly didn't expect you to come in here and raise a ruckus." And the panda throws a dictionary to him and says, "I'm a panda, look it up." And so the bartender, flips through and says, "Panda, large bear, native to Tibet, eats, shoots, and leaves." So
we called the record label Eats, Shoots, and Leaves Records, shortening it, of course, for the graphics, to ESL Records. Eats, Shoots, and Leaves Records. And then, like 6 months later, we got some huge bill that we owed all this money because there's another record label called ESL Records. But it stands for something else. We're legally in the clear, but just their mail got screwed up with ours. So we decided, let's be very clear, and we'll call it Eats Records. So we've kind of gone with that theme, and actually, we've gotten more into cooking.
Yeah.
And, I have a lot of people who come to our shows who bring recipes and stuff. So it's, a bit of our trademark. So,
And we're hungry.
And we're hungry all the time.
Okay. So people who want to find out more about your recordings, your touring schedule, can email you at eatsrecords.com, info@eatsrecords, or they can go to www.eatsrecords.com.
All the info, all the tasty treats you want. We even have recipes on the site, so come on out.
Okay, what would you like to play for us now?
One of your songs?
We're going to try another one of mine.
Yay! This is a great song. Whoa!
Ow!
Oh, that's all right. It's okay. Just metal. So when we moved into this house, we had clear reception on the television if we put it in a certain corner. And for the first summer that we were in the house, we were able to watch all of the Tour de France. And we love bicycling. So this was great. And this year, for some reason, that corner of the house, I don't know, maybe it's because of the new plants growing in the yard or something, we couldn't get the channel that ran the Tour de France this year. So instead of watching the tour day in, day out, Matt wrote a song sort of to commemorate some of the highlights of being a bicycle rider.
Yeah, this might be one of the most bicycle geek songs ever written. But John wakes up before the sun on the 17th of May. His eyes go wide when he sees that brand new Schwinn Stingray. Now he skids through puddles, flies off curbs, his first real taste of freedom. When his dad put on those training wheels, John said he didn't need them. In his mind he's Eddie Merckx, and in his mind he's Lance. He can hear Phil Liggett say, "See how those pedals dance." He still rides a straight line like his daddy showed. And every time the wheels go round, he's a giant of the road. 15, too young to drive a car, but not too young to date. He loves the quiet of the night when he comes home late. Out of school in his first job, an income on 2 wheels. Tearing down the yellow line, he grins at how it feels. In his mind he's Eddie Merckx, and in his mind he's Lance. He can hear Phil Liggett say, "See how those pedals dance." He still rides a straight line like his daddy showed. Every time the wheels go round, he's a giant of the road. John's got a proper job, contract signed in ink. He rides 12 miles to work each day and then showers in the sink. John's daughter rides a tricycle, 3 wheels of her own. She feels the wind rush through her hair when she races Daddy home. In her mind she's Marla Streb flying down a hill. She can't leave the driveway yet, but she knows someday she will. She tries to ride a straight line like her daddy showed. Every time the wheels go round, she's a giant of the road. Every time the wheels go round, she's a giant of the road.
All right.
Yay.
Even the Bicycle Geek song sounds Celtic. Right.
Well, you know, there's a good Irish phrase for get out of here that's on your bike. Get up on your bike, you know. So.
Okay, well, we just have time to thank you and take it out with a little jam session that we
Awesome.
worked on. Matt and Shannon Heaton, info@eatsrecords.com or www.eatsrecords.com. Thank you so much for sharing your music with us.
Thanks for having us.
and thanks for listening.
Real pleasure.
It was lovely. So this is a tune called March into Crystal Lake that I wrote for Matt's dad.